Grant Delpit talked about the Browns' mentality in this offseason, their workouts this offseason.
Everyone says OTAs feel a little bit different. Like everything, like in general, feels different this year. A little more intensity, a little more focus. Do you feel that as well?
I think that was a big emphasis coming in. Maybe, it was a little bit too lax last year. Maybe we need to go a little harder this year. So if it's any question about it, I think it's, we need to attack it at a higher rate, higher speed every day. Obviously it wasn't good enough last year, so something needs to change. And it starts with our effort, for real. So that's what we focusing on right now, controlling what we control. We can't do too much physical, violence and stuff like that. So just making sure our tempo is as up as it can be.
Well, Jacob, if that's the message from the coaching staff, I like it. They got to get out to a better start. They had a lot of injuries. I don't know why that is the last couple of years. So you got to look at everything. And whatever you were doing, don't do that again because it clearly didn't work.
That's what I was going to say. That a lot of people say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, and then being upset when the same thing happens again that you were doing it. Like I had a conversation about this exact quote with Pete Smith for the OBR earlier today, where I was like, "Hey, what you did last year was 3 wins, so making sure you're ratcheting it up and going more intense and getting more reps, that's what you need to do. You've got to do things differently this year because the approach last year, it resulted in a garbage product on the field. And so you can't do that same thing unless you want to only win 3 games again this year. And you're trying to deal with these 4 quarterbacks and trying to figure out which one and to get enough reps to find out if you need to draft one in the first round next year or if Kenny Pickett can do it or one of these rookies. And one way to do that is ratchet up the intensity and get more reps. And that way you get your eyes on more situations and more be like, oh yeah, maybe Shedeur really can grow into that guy. Or, oh yeah, really like Dylan Gabriel can grow into that guy. And it starts with, intensity and reps and opportunities. And there was some stuff on the report card, the NFLPA report card talking about they weren't sure time management was a great strength of this staff. And it's clear that they put in, they took that to heart and are like, okay, let's use our time better. We don't get to have longer practices. So if we want more reps, we have to go faster to fit them in there. And then on top of that, they made a massive overhaul, hiring and promoting and changing a lot of stuff with and bringing on more trainers and more medical staff so they could try to potentially fix that issue too. And so from those 2 aspects right there, I'm very encouraged by it.